What is today? Happy Thursday. My name is Michelle Pollino, and this is Pure Pollino. On Thursdays, we talk all about the things that make us go, and that is food for me. Thursdays, it's culinary culture. On Tuesdays, it's astrology and spirituality. What a great mix, and nowhere else could it be found other than the under the Pure Pollino umbrella at ubnradio.com. So welcome to your Thursday. I have some pretty great things in store for you today. What happens when you leave Wall Street? This is a question I'm asking you. Yes, you. What happens when you leave Wall Street for the beckoning taste and smells of your culinary passions? Chef Cristina Topham knows only too well, and she is here today with some amazing stories to share with us, which I'm really excited about. Her journey highlights include cooking for culinary great Julia Child. I will not do my impression. I know you're begging right now. You're begging for it. But no, I'm not going to do it. Recipe taster for Gourmet Magazine. I want to ask this specific question because I want to be a recipe taster. This is what I want to be when I grow up. I don't know when that's going to happen growing up. And most recently, winning Food Network's Guys Grocery Games. Another one, a subject that we're going to talk about with Christina. I don't know if anybody saw it. It was the funniest thing that SNL has done in a long time, but they did a reboot. They did a reboot of Guys Grocery Games, and it was hilarious. You gotta Google it. SNL's Guys Grocery Games. It's really hilarious. So check it out. So Christina's going to be with us in a few minutes, and she is also a personal chef on mega yachts and estate chefs for prominent families all over the world. So from Wall Street to Wayward chef, Cristina Topham will be in studio with us in just a few minutes. And we're really excited because she does have some really great, like, rock star stories to share with us, as well as maybe some shipwreck stories and sex. I'm kidding. I don't know where that came from. Also, this week in LA starts Dine LA's first event for 2014. It kicks off January 20th, runs through the 31st. It's being presented by the Los Angeles Tourism and Convention Board. And it's a time when some of the best restaurants in town will give you a pre-fee menu for like half the price, like one portion of the price. I think I'm going to go to Alumet. I've already made my reservations for it. $45 for some pretty amazing food. So I'm pretty excited about that. So you should check it out and make your reservations. Look at my hair. It looks pretty. I just noticed it on camera. I just got it done the other day, by the way, at Shorty's, a barbershop. And a really gorgeous gay black man did it. I forget his name, but I'll give him a shout out next week. But I really like it. It does. It really looks good. I'm very proud. Anyway, so right now what we have before Christina comes on is my favorite segment of the week. It's called Your Foodie 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
What happened? That was it? That was everything. It's got to be more than that.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's the one I wanted. It's so much better.
You lied. You said you wanted the other one.
All right, so I lied. I like the second one. The second one's better. So, okay, so now the moment that we've all waited for all week long, and here it goes. Number 5. So what do you think about bringing your baby into a Michelin restaurant? A Chicago couple brought their 8-month-old baby into Grant Achatz. I think that's how you say his name, or Achatz. I think it's Achatz. 3-starred Michelin restaurant, Alinea, this weekend. Now, he went a little bit crazy in the kitchen because he's now saying he's considering banning kids at his restaurant. He was on GMA this week, GMA being the acronym for Good Morning America, in case you've been under a rock. He basically said, I could hear the child crying in the kitchen. And in his head, all he could think about was the 80 other people outside of his kitchen, hearing that child cry through a dinner they probably paid $300 for, $300 or $400 for. So I don't know. People have been tweeting about it all week long. I've been reading the tweets. You got to check it out. Hashtag babies at restaurants. It's pretty funny. He went on to say he really wants people to come out and enjoy the experience of Alinea. Most people do when they go out, but you could also, as a parent, understand the predicament that you've made your reservations for this restaurant weeks in advance. All of a sudden, you're thinking about it, you're talking about it with your spouse. All of a sudden, your babysitter gets sick or something happens. And so what do? Well, you scoop up the baby and you go and you hope for the best. Unfortunately, it was not a good scene and it ended up on a GMA. That's your number 5, Foodie 5. Number 4, Top Chef is going extreme. Bravo is now adding another Top Chef series, if they don't have enough already, to its roster under the working title Top Chef Extreme. I know they're so inventive over there, right? E-News revealed this exclusively. The new series will feature former chef testants, that's what they're called, if you watch this, and I do, going head-to-head. They battle to answer the questions, who is going to be the ultimate top chef. Now, each episode will pit 2 Top Chef and 2 Top Chef Master alumni in a head-to-head cooking battle for 3 rounds of extreme culinary challenges. The winner of each episode will compete against one another in the season finale. This should be fun. Now, what they're doing is they're asking people who love the series to tweet who they want as chef testants. So if they're following the series and they love certain chef testants, they can go to their Facebook page or they can tweet #TopChefExtreme and they can pick who they want to see on the series. So that's kind of fun. And we're going to ask Christina if she wants to do it because I know she was already on Guys and she won. So maybe that makes her, I don't know, in the running. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, your number 3 story. Don't you love the taste of latex in your martini? Yeah, no, I don't think so. I don't either. However, that may be a concern now in California, but thanks to a sweeping new California law regarding when restaurant workers must wear gloves extends past the kitchen, the LA Times points out that the new rules also now apply to bartenders who now must wear gloves or use utensils when handling any component that goes directly into your glass. In practical terms, this means that bartenders in California are required, however you want to look at it, to wear gloves or use utensils like tongs or tweezers. That's kind of gross even if you think about it. Like, no. Tweezers are for my eyebrows, not for ice cubes into drinks. When touching ice cubes and drink garnishes, like anything. And today's bartenders are pretty amazing. I mean, if you go out, much like me and my friends, and we order some pretty fancy drinks, and they're twisting herbs and putting their hands over rosemary and lemon and curd and throwing all this stuff in your drinks. I just think that's weird with the latex. I'm not into it. Latex. There's many jokes right there. Many. I'm glad you didn't touch it. Number 2, Foodie 5 of the week. Now this I'm going to get serious about because I'm sure you're like me and you like, maybe almond milk with your Cheerios in the morning. But you don't want any GMOs, right? Yeah. So when I read this, I was like, what? That's exactly what I said, and that's how I said it. What? The debate raging in America right now about GMOs is real. And I want you guys to listen to this story because for me, just like you, I love my food. And I try to be as well read as possible. And I didn't even know that GMOs were in my cereal until I read this thing this morning. So, but the good thing is the amount of awareness that's coming to America right now because of people like Marianne Williamson and just people like you and me signing petitions and getting our thoughts and observations and being well read and aware out there. People and companies, corporations like General Mills are actually doing something about it. So what General Mills is doing now is they announced January 2nd that they would make its popular original Cheerios breakfast cereal without GMOs, and U.S. consumers would see it labeled as such. Now, what people are asking and what people are against, I'm going to explain in a minute. They did it, they said, because they think customers will embrace it. They also said at the same time, which I think is very interesting, they said it's not about safety. Now, with that said, let me explain this part. Chemical giants such as DuPont, Monsanto, Syngenta, They're joined by food behemoths, including Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Kraft Foods. Yeah, you can imagine the GMOs in macaroni and cheese. Just think about it. Think about it. They used $46 million towards convincing voters to reject GMO labeling, whereas companies against GMOs spent about $9 million. So think about the difference. There's $37 million in differences. 37 more millions more are being spent by opposing parties so they can keep consumers uninformed. Okay, there it is. There's my soapbox for today. That was our number 2 Foodie 5 fact. And I think it's an important fact to take away. No more GMOs, people. Okay, here it is. I need a drum roll for this one. This is your number 1 Foodie 5 for the day. So there's this novelty toaster company called Burnt Impressions, right? So one day, their team of developers is sitting in a meeting, looking around, I can only assume, at the hard toaster demographics data in front of them. Now, their angle in the toaster game at Burnt Impressions is the kind of novelty toaster that burns or brands an image of something onto your bread as a toast, right? Toasters like these have started to pop up in every motif imaginable. Like, of course, number 1 dad, awesome mom, Hello Kitty. There's a clue. Now, in this Burnt Impression meeting, I can only assume someone asked how they could tackle a new market, reach a new novelty toasting audience. It was at this precise moment I can only assume that some brave, forward-thinking toaster engineer finally spoke up. I think I've got it. He said, with the kind of trepidation only brilliance can trigger, what if we make our next toaster a vagina toaster? That's right. That was the day someone invented the vagina toaster, a day that may be long remembered as the day that meant absolutely nothing to nobody ever. But to them, it meant something. Something that they actually went forward with. So maybe no one in the meeting shouted out when we first thought about this, the words vagina and toaster combined together. Like, what does that mean? Like, is the toaster shaped like a vagina? Are we toasting vaginas? Do we climb up on it? What does that mean? Apparently there were no gay men in this meeting, I'm guessing, or straight women. But maybe there were straight women because, they might fancy getting their vaginas toasted. Listen, I'm not going to leave y'all hanging here because I'm sure you're dying to know what exactly the toaster does and what it looks like. So I'm looking at this thing this morning, and of course you could Google it. And what it does is it toasts a picture of a vagina on your toast. It kind of looks like, Jesus' hands clasped in a prayer. The kind that your grandmother had that held her rosary beads. That's what it. I'm going to hell in a handbasket filled with vagina toast. That's where I'm going right now. All right, this is where I gotta go. Coming up next, the Wayward chef Cristina Topham, right here, and no more vagina toasts. Okay. Are with the Wayward chef, Christina Topham. Let's talk a little bit about Christina. She's in studio with me right now. Hey, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me on.
So let's give everybody a little background on you. You've been cooking professionally since 1999 when you swapped your high heels, which I love, for kitchen clogs. Do you really wear kitchen clogs?
I do, yeah.
Oh, you do? Okay. After 5 years as a computer programmer on Wall Street, you entered the French Culinary Institute. Shortly after graduating, you actually questioned your career choice, and then you landed where?
Yeah, I questioned my career choice because I worked in a restaurant that paid like $7 an hour.
Right. You're
and worked
probably
my ass off.
slaving and saying,
Yeah.
why did I do this? I was making so much money.
Yeah, but then I actually ended up at a place called Julia's Kitchen, which was the only restaurant that Julia Child ever lent her name to, and it was based out of the sadly now defunct Copia, which was a food, wine, and art museum out in the Napa Valley.
Wow. That must have been fantastic.
It was.
And you did cook for Miss Julia
Yeah,
Child.
I actually got to meet her probably a dozen times, and we cooked for her in the restaurant.
Right.
She came. She was regular there.
Yeah. She's like a tall drink of water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she actually made the time to talk to everybody on the line and do a book signing for all of the cooks. So she went one by one. We got to sit and talk with her, and she was like the most warm, genuine person, and really gave everybody her presence and attention. It was really a remarkable experience that I will always hold dear.
Yeah, she's everything that I've read about her has been really great, and I actually the last movie I saw, the one with Amy Adams and Meryl Streep, really taught me a lot about her.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really great movie.
Yeah, it was really touching. Well, I actually worked on a yacht with Meryl Streep down in the Caribbean.
Woo, we're gonna get to these stories. Wait, hold on. I want to finish your bio. So you worked as a recipe tester. I want to be a recipe taster. That's why I said that earlier. But you worked as a recipe tester for Sarah Moulton at Gourmet Magazine. How was that? Well, wait. I'm going to go through this because this is really great. And then you left the comforts of land to work as a chef on the mega yacht industry.
Yeah.
And this is where you got incredible stories.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a few in my pocket.
Yeah. So, and we're going to get to that. You have cooked for some of America's most prominent and demanding families all over the world, including Mexico, the Caribbean, the Mediterranean, Croatia. I have a lot of friends from Croatia and Sweden.
Yeah.
And, of course, France. And you've also written about those, and you are the proud winner of the 2008 Silver Certificate Solace Award for Best Travel Writing. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You have a forthcoming cookbook.
I do,
Yeah.
yes.
So you're a busy lady.
I am. I'm working away.
And you were also the winner of Food Network's Guys Grocery Games.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
So I actually want to start right there. So let's start. And this was just a few months ago, correct?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about how that happened. How you got to Guys Grocery Games?
Actually, I was surfing Craigslist looking for chef's gigs and whatever, and something popped up for it. And the funny thing was that like the week before I ran across the ad on Craigslist, I was walking through the grocery store, and I spend so much of my life in grocery stores, and I was thinking to myself, there has to be some way I can use my grocery shopping skills. And I was literally thinking
Were
this.
you thinking
Yeah.
this? You manifested it.
Totally. And then I saw the ad on Craigslist, and I was like, oh God, that's like totally right up my alley. And you had to write like a paragraph of why you think you'd be good at this show. And so I wrote like a funny paragraph, and I was like, dude, I'm going to kill it because I spent my whole life in grocery stores. I've strategically mapped out how they're laid out so I can, be the fastest grocery shopper in my day-to-day work because I have so much shopping and cooking to do,
Oh my God, that's hilarious. That is hilarious.
Yeah, so it was my destiny to go on that show.
It totally was. You manifested that.
Yeah.
You totally did.
Yeah, and actually when I applied, they were in the final stages of casting, and they were like, can you come in tomorrow? And I was, yeah, sure. And it like all happened really quickly.
That's the way it usually does.
Yeah.
That is pretty incredible.
Yeah, it was awesome.
He's crazy.
He is. He's
cray
really
cray.
nice.
No, he's cray cray.
Yeah.
He's got more energy than
Totally.
Yeah, but it was fun.
It was so much fun. Yeah.
And you'd go back in a minute.
In a heartbeat. Yeah. Yeah,
Cool.
I'm really hoping that they'll have like a winners
They
jam.
usually do.
Yeah.
They usually do.
Yeah, I'm ready to kick some more butt.
Yeah. Do it. No, that'll be great. What are some of your favorite shows?
Oh,
Because we did the Top Chef story.
I think Top Chef. I like Next Food Network Star, but honestly, at the end of my day, I don't really go home and watch food shows.
No, I know.
I know everybody thinks I do, but
Right. I definitely have a couple favorites. Like I love MasterChef. I love MasterChef, and I love anything that Gordon Ramsay does.
I like some
and Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah, I love Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the
Like I love him.
Yeah,
I think I do love him.
totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like my alter ego.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I love some of the really nasty ones. I love like Cutthroat Kitchen. I think it's kind of wicked.
Right.
I love Chopped just because I like to see the bizarre stuff that ends up in their basket, and I sit there and watch it and go, oh, I know what I'd do with that, or oh, that's terrible.
Right. Chops pretty funny too.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited that you're here because, like you said earlier, you cook for some of the world's most prominent families and people. You know, it's like you're dining with them. When you dine with people, it's a very different experience.
Yeah, I don't dine
Well,
with them as much as I live with them.
Right. So let's talk about what you said earlier, Meryl Streep. Let's talk about her.
Well, so I got called at the very last minute to cook on a yacht that she was coming on as a charter guest because the chef had injured himself, and I had about a day and a half to prepare before her arrival. And I get to the yacht and I place a big order. This is down in Antigua, and you have to really kind of strategically plan when you're provisioning yachts because the islands only get deliveries on certain days of the week, and not, you have to know what's available and stuff. And so I had ordered everything for the charter because the charter was 10 days, and we weren't going to be anywhere where I could
that
hit
must be
a
really
store.
hard. Yeah,
you really have to plan in advance. Yeah, it takes a lot of planning, and you also have to pack really well so stuff doesn't freeze in the back of the refrigerator and things don't go bad, and so that you can preserve your vegetables and stuff as long as you possibly can and really kind of ration them out.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really challenging.
This
but it's
isn't
fun.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. But so
are you a Sag?
No, I'm a Virgo.
Virgo.
Organization, come on. It's like
Of
the
course.
refrigerator's like Tetris
Sag,
for me.
But that's also the travel thing. The travel thing made me think you're a Sag.
Oh,
but you
okay,
have
I know.
probably Sag in your chart.
Maybe, yeah.
No, without a doubt.
Oh, okay.
Without a doubt.
Okay.
There's no maybe.
I'll take your word for it.
Yes, please.
So right before she came to the yacht, the provisioner had given my order to the wrong boat that had left the marina.
Right.
And so it took him another day to get me the delivery. And when the delivery finally came, my refrigerator fan broke. And in the Caribbean, they're like, yeah, I'm on. I'll be there in 15 minutes. And it's like
2
4 hours later,
right.
you know. And so the refrigeration got fixed about 3 hours before she arrived to the boat. And then it was a really small yacht, well, small in my world, which is like 80 feet, and a really tiny galley. And her cabin was on the other side of the galley, so every time she walked through to go to her cabin, she had to walk through the galley. And as I'm in there cooking, like every single day of the week, it's getting progressively worse. Like a freezer goes down.
Oh my God.
The burners go out on the stove. The oven keeps dying. Like I'm trying to cook croissant, and because like the oven keeps dying, they're cooking really slow, and so they're overproofing, and they're like the size of my head. And
Were you? I mean, if it was me, I would have dropped 20 pounds on that trip.
I was trying not to totally lose my shit.
Right.
Sorry for the swearing, Mom. But I was like falling apart. But one day, like sort of my like happy moment in it was that I was hand making pasta in the galley one day, and she walked through, and I know there was like I had clogs on, but I know that she's like walking barefoot through like semolina and shit on the floor, and she sticks her head over my shoulder and she goes, "Show off," and I was like, "Oh, I just got to call the shop."
Wow! Oh my God!
But the great thing was about a year later, Julie and Julia came out, and so I like went to the movie theater 3 times with myself and watched it and cried every time, and I still can't watch that movie without getting like a little bit emotional. So now I just have to cook for Amy Adams, and then I'll be all set.
You'll be all set. Well, apparently she was in WeHo last night belting out a karaoke song at Don't Tell Mama, the karaoke bar.
Yeah.
So you can now.
I'll have to work on that.
Yeah, you'll find her somewhere singing.
Yeah,
somewhere.
I need to work for more people that sing karaoke.
What did you cook? What did you cook her, and what other interactions did you have with her? Like, did she?
I cooked her the first night she was there. I did a shrimp coconut curry, and I actually carved out the captain and I sawed coconuts in half and carved them out so that we had little coconut bowls to serve it in.
Nice.
And I turned all my vegetables to look like little palm leaves. You know.
Holy.
I did a gold leafed chocolate mousse, I think.
Oh, nice.
And a bunch of stuff. It's
See,
probably
you
like
know,
Raffaello.
you have to be really creative, and when people are going on these yachts, they're expecting a hell of a dinner.
Yeah, absolutely. And some of the bigger yachts that I worked on were chartered out for like $250,000 a week. So, you can't be turning out like, ravioli in a can.
No. And you can't even be turning out ravioli.
Well, you can if you hand make it.
If you hand make it and you make it with something pretty incredible inside.
Sure, yeah, lobsters, Caribbean lobsters.
Caribbean lobster ravioli with a nice bechamel sauce.
Yeah, but you also have to be able to think on your feet because, you made provision and stock up on a bunch of stuff and then the guest will come to you and be like, oh, by the way, I'm allergic to this thing. Or like you get a sheet that they fill out beforehand of what they want, like and don't like, or allergic to. But then inevitably, one person fills out the sheet for everybody else, and then everybody else arrives and goes, "Oh, by the way, I don't eat this and I don't eat that."
That always happens.
I actually worked on one yacht where the guests arrived and they had their sheet didn't really say much except that they wanted to eat organic and fairly light.
Right.
And they came aboard, and it turned out that they were semi-vegetarian, macrobiotic, and they wanted a lot of vegetables at every course. And we actually had to have a produce delivery helicoptered to an island and then sent out to us on a speedboat because I was running out of vegetables because they were just like gorging themselves.
Christina, this has got to be stress for you.
Yeah.
But you probably thrive in it.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Yeah, I do. I do love it.
Because this to me sounds so stressful that I would probably walk off this yacht 20 pounds later. I'd be sweating and trying to get everything done.
Yeah, but the nice thing is like you wake up in the morning and you open your eyes and you look at the porthole and you're somewhere different,
Yeah.
And that totally doesn't suck. But it has its lifespan. There's a reason I'm not full-time on yachts anymore.
Oh.
I'll still work for families that have yachts and go off and cook with them and stuff. But, you're sharing a tiny cabin with other crew members. You have no personal space whatsoever.
Really?
Yeah. It's
guys and girls, or is it mixed?
It's been mixed. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it gets challenging.
Yeah.
Especially when the guy's hot. No.
Yeah. And how long are these cruises? You don't have any kids, do you?
Lonely out at sea.
That's cray. So I want to hear some stories.
Oh, I don't have anything lascivious, but.
Oh, man.
Well,
okay.
No, I'm kidding.
Okay, so tell me a really great. You have a shipwreck story.
I do. It was an almost shipwreck, and it was really funny because I had gotten a job on my first yacht. I'd actually gone to the Caribbean on a blind date, and that's a whole nother episode. And I put one foot in the water, and I was like, "Yeah, he's okay, but look at this water." And I ended up, as soon as I got back to New York, looking for a job down in the Caribbean, like in a hotel or resort or something. And I ran across an ad for a yacht. And cooking on a yacht.
This is how you first got.
Yeah. So I applied for this job and I got it, and it was cooking aboard a 120-foot yacht that was going from New York City to St. Bart and spending the winter in St. Bart. And they were doing a lot of repairs on the yacht, so my start date kept getting pushed off. And when I finally joined the yacht, we had about 3 days to get ready, and it was a 2-week trip down to the Caribbean from New York, sailing. So I had to have everything ready for the sail and then some. And I had the owner had specifically asked me to buy all the meat and fish in the States and freeze everything. And I froze and butchered like 350 pounds of meat and fish and did like 50 grocery trips. Like it was lunacy. And I had no food prepared in advance for the sail. And I thought, well, how hard is it to cook at sea? And we head out, and within 24 hours, we were in like 20-foot seas and gale force winds. And
did you not think about this? Your Virgo mind did not think about this?
I'd only been on the San Francisco ferry before.
Oh my God.
I was like, cool, a boat. I thought I'd be working on my tan.
Holy crap.
Yeah, so eventually, like within a day and a half, we were in 40-foot seas. And do you know what a boom on a boat is? Like this
I
is
do.
the mast, not the boom.
I do. I have
Okay.
my sailing license.
So so the boom ripped loose from the top of the yacht and hit a wave and bent in half like a jackknife and punched to the side of the pilot house. And it was really like the first time I think in my entire life that I very viscerally thought that there was a chance that I might die.
Wow.
And waves were coming in. I mean, not like huge waves, but enough water was coming in and everybody was kind of freaking out. And I actually had the craziest sensation because I passed out cold. But I remember the whole experience, like I broke out.
You passed out?
Yeah.
Do you normally pass out?
No, I've never passed out in my life. No, but I broke out in a sweat and just
The chef's passed out. Damn.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I would have been like jumping ship right there.
Where to though, you know?
Right.
But the funny thing was that we ended up sailing into Bermuda, and we spent a couple of weeks in Bermuda boarding up and fixing the boat and stuff. And people were
Was
like,
this happening near the Bermuda Triangle
we were
area?
in the Bermuda Triangle, actually.
I would have been freaking out.
Oh my God, but it's the best story to tell.
No. It is. It's a great story.
Well, the funny thing was that we got into Bermuda, and I'm like calling my mom and stuff, and she's like, "Oh, honey, come home." And it's like snowing sideways in New York, and I'm like, "Screw that, man! I'm going to the Caribbean. I don't care if I die on the way."
Right, you're spending your winters in St. Bart's.
Right. Well, I stayed on that boat until we got to the Caribbean, and then I saw these big, beautiful boats, and I realized that I was on like the jalopy, and I jumped off, and there was a shortage of professional chefs in the yachting industry at the time, and I just worked as a freelancer and jumped from boat to boat for a year and a half. I mean, you know, with some off seasons, but all over the Caribbean.
Good pay? Is it good pay?
Oh, it's great. Yeah.
I'm just imagining.
Yeah,
it.
it's great. Yeah.
Are we near triple digits?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love this.
Yeah.
I mean, I love this.
Yeah, it was a blast. Yeah, the time of my life. And I actually ended up working for a family and helping them design and build a 160-foot boat. We sailed up to British Columbia and down to Mexico and through the Sea of Cortez.
And you've not met a husband here?
Well, you know, boat to boat, I gotta have a man in every port.
So there were hookups.
Well, maybe.
Oh, yes, there were hookups.
Girls don't tell.
Right. But you have another celebrity story for us?
No, that was my big
That
one.
was your big
I have
one?
non-disclosure agreements with a lot of people, so I
you
can't
do?
talk too much about, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, all I can tell you is that if you want me to cook for you, you have to send the private jet to pick me up.
Holy cow. You have probably encountered some of the wealthiest. Can you talk about the highest paid and the wealthiest?
I can't because that would give away too much information. But what I can say is that people always say I should work for celebrities, but celebrities aren't wealthy enough. And it's a lot nicer working for billionaires. They're usually way more laid back than you think. And
Really?
they want like meatloaf and fried chicken.
Really?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
You know what? I want to know some of the meals that you cook for the wealthiest
Sure.
people in the world. I want to know the wealthiest person that you've worked. You don't have to say his name, his or her name. I'm guessing it's a white male. And I want to know what he wanted. And I want to know about your book and some other stories when we come back right after this break.
Hey guys, this is Bob Merrick, the host of The Bob Show, the official morning show here on UBN Radio. We like to accentuate the positive in pop culture, human interest stories, and I don't know what else. Check us out from 9 to 11 a.m. on ubnradio.com.
We are experts at video production. We have crews in over 100 cities and the finest editors in the world. It's fun to create your videos, and that's what we love doing. We're good at that. But the most important thing is, how do you use those videos? How do you leverage your video investment? We provide all the platforms to do that. Website design, social media, SEO, PR, and television. And all of those components do a dance that work in tandem with each other for a comprehensive marketing campaign that really helps grow your business.
We're the kids your parents warned you about.
And now we have kids of our own.
Hi, I'm Sean Kanan.
And I'm Michelle Kanan. Listen to us on Kanan's Rules Wednesdays and Fridays on UBN Radio.
Very good, babe. Nice work.
How do I look?
Hey, this is Robert Hensley, and you're listening to UBN Radio. Don't miss my new show, Face Value. It's all about celebrity makeup, skincare, and uncovering the truth of how we can look and feel younger. Every Friday, 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time here on UBN Radio starting October 4th. Listen, laugh, learn, increase your face value.
Now that you've found UBN Radio and discovered our quality talk shows, it's time to spread the word to friends, family, and the universe. 24 hours of music and talk. Radio without limits. That's why people keep coming back for more. That's ubnradio.com.
Welcome back. This is Pure Pollino. Culinary culture on Thursdays. On Tuesdays, it's astrology, spirituality, and so much more. Today, with me from Wall Street to Wayward chef on the high seas, it's Cristina Topham, and she's been regaling us with her stories of Meryl Streep on 120-foot yachts, being shipwrecked, and how she got into the industry, as well as other things, everything except for vagina toast. So we're happy about that. So right before we went to break, we were talking about the favorite meal of the wealthiest person that you cooked for.
Yeah, so one of the families that I worked for, he really loved the Kobe beef hamburger from the Peninsula Hotel in Chicago. Mm-hmm. So he actually flew me to Chicago on a private jet, put me up at the Peninsula Hotel, and sent me to go eat a Kobe beef burger. And in that time too, as part of my Christmas present, he sent me to dinner at Alinea. You were just talking about
right in Chicago.
Yeah, and I did a 20-course tasting menu with Grant Achatz and Thomas Keller. So Grant did 10 courses and Thomas did 10 courses.
That Thomas
really
Keller
cool.
of the French Laundry, in case nobody knows.
Yeah. But
wow!
But I had to go back and
Christina, that is awesome.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
For a foodie,
yeah,
that's like a foodie's dream right there.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Oh my God!
Yeah, it's like Mecca.
Yeah, that's the Mecca.
Yeah,
you've reached God.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah, but I had to go back and recreate this hamburger for him. So when I went back to their home, I actually came up with my own beef blend, which was a lot of beef tenderloin and a whole lot of fat mixed in. And I made my own hamburger buns, and I made my own ketchup, my own mustard, and onion jam, and avocado hummus, all the toppings for it, and did my burgers for him. And he said that my burger surpassed the Kobe beef burger at the Peninsula Hotel.
Wow, that is really great. I want you to cook for me now. Okay. I mean, no, it sounds really good.
Well, I have goodies here for you.
Let me see the goodies. Thank you. That was a good transition.
Yeah, so we have some smoky chipotle kimchi.
Oh, okay. So Christina brought for me some smoky chipotle kimchi, which I didn't. Did you know that I love kimchi?
Oh, I didn't know that.
I love kimchi.
Yay!
Yay! This smells.
The whole office is gonna smell.
I don't care. I don't. Oh my God! I can smell it in there. Sriracha.
Yeah. No sriracha. No.
That's
it's Korean chili powder and chipotle chili powder.
Oh my
And
God.
then this is some garlic confit, because that's like one of my favorite things to have on hand, because it just gives so much flavor to anything quickly. You can use the garlic in vinaigrettes, like a roasted garlic Caesar dressing or something. And
I will eat it raw.
And then the oil, you're definitely gonna want to dump on some bread.
Oh my God, this is so good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, no. People in the chat room were like, Yeah, no, so
those
good.
were my Christmas presents to family and friends this year.
Oh, that is so great. This is so amazing. I cannot wait.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of condiments.
And you make your own.
Yeah, I love making condiments.
Like the ketchup and the...
Yeah.
So how do you make your own ketchup? Talk about that.
Cook down a lot of tomatoes, caramelize a lot of onions. Then I throw in a lot of spices like mace and allspice, cinnamon, and a lot of like the sweeter, warmer spices.
Right.
Sugar, brown sugar.
I was just going to ask, do you put sugar in it, and how much?
Yeah, apple cider vinegar, a lot.
Okay. All
it
right.
depends, actually. If I'm doing something for kids, I tend to put a little more sugar in it.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm doing
so
something
good.
for grown-ups, then I do a little less. I don't have a really strong sweet tooth, so
I do.
which is why you got that instead of cake.
No, I'd rather have this. Believe me. Everybody's like, pass the kimchi. No, I will not allow you to have any of my kimchi. No, come over to my house. I'll share it with you. I swear, I love kimchi.
Yay.
I love it. We have a great Koreatown in LA. Like,
and, I moved here 2 years ago after working in Sweden, and I love Koreatown here. I've been exploring like crazy.
It's the best I've ever been to, ever. The Asian culture in LA is so underrated.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So underrated. Some of the best Asian restaurants that I've been to.
Oh, the Thai food here is as good as I had in Thailand.
Jitlada.
Yeah, totally.
Have you been?
I love Jitlada.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So tell me about the favorite place that you've traveled, the most favorite place that you've traveled.
Hands down, outside of the country, I have to say Antibes. I cooked there for a couple of months, and the food was amazing. The people were warm and lovely.
What is it again?
Antibes in the south of France, in Provence.
How do you spell?
Antibes.
Okay, great. Okay.
Yeah.
I have to see it in order to geographically.
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah. But Stockholm is pretty crazy too. I love Stockholm.
Tell me about you cook a lot of Swedish dishes. I definitely see that from your website.
Yeah, actually, I was kind of surprised when I went to Sweden because I didn't really know what to expect. But I really fell in love with like the breads and the baked goods because the breads were all like really hearty whole grain breads, a lot of rye and stuff. But they also put in a lot of like dried fruits and nuts. And the pastries use a lot of really nice spices like saffron and cardamom and coriander.
Right.
So it was really interesting and unique and very different than like traditional French or even Italian.
Right. It very is. I have a really good friend, Britt, who makes me glog every year.
Oh, yeah. I did a lot of glog.
Yeah. Glog is their Christmas spirit. If you don't know, look it up, Google it. We only have a few more minutes. Tell me about your book before we go.
So my book is an introduction to sort of kitchen fundamentals and how a professional chef thinks, and it's tips on how to set up your kitchen, what are staple pantry items, how to take care of stuff like your pots and pans, basic knife skills, and then how to work with certain types of food. So when you look at an ingredient, you kind of know what'll work and what won't work. So sort of build your culinary intuition.
How will people be able to get a hold of it?
Follow me on my website. You can even send me an email and I'll put you on a mail list. And my website's going through a little bit of a rebuild at the moment. Okay. But I will probably be self-publishing it by the end of the year or so.
I like your hair now. I like the straight. Because on the website it's curly.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I like the straight. It looks really cute. What are you looking forward to in 2014? And then tell me about your favorite restaurant here in LA and across the country.
2014, I'm really looking forward to freelancing. Okay. I'm really looking forward to focusing a lot more on my writing.
Okay, good.
Yeah. And
we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's...
No.
Oh, I just said I'm looking forward to my meditation retreat, which you and I had a conversation about.
Right. We didn't even hit the spiritual angle. Christina's really spiritual. She's going to Joshua Tree for how many days?
A 10-day silent meditation retreat.
And one of the things that I love is that so many more chefs today are really infusing their spirituality with their food.
Well, I think you have to because it's such hard work. You go insane otherwise.
Yeah, I agree. And it's I think the more aware we become, the more aware we are with the food that we put in, like my GMO story earlier today, the more aware we are spiritually, the more aware and healthier we are with the food that we eat. I'm all about it. I'm all about knowing where my meat comes from because I love animals. I love them. I sometimes go back and forth between being a vegetarian.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same way.
It's a tough call because I love pigs, but also I will never turn down the pork belly at Hinoki and the bird ever again.
Yeah, totally.
Like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So I go back and forth between the things that I love, and I just want to do right by the world, by Mother Earth. I do. And I think most chefs like you also want to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And big ones, like, even Rene Redzepi talks about it, I think, in his book. I think a little, well, he's a little.
Oh, I'm not sure.
You don't? Oh, you should definitely.
Oh, okay.
He's a Swedish chef. He's Redzepi.
Okay.
Look it up. And he just wrote a really famous book, and I only have 2 minutes left. So I have to make a couple of announcements. But first, I want to say Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much. This has been a blast.
It has been a blast. So how can people get a hold of you?
They can go to my website at thewaywardschef.com. They can also follow me at Wayward Chef on Twitter. And you can go to my Facebook page at facebook.com/waywardchef.
And people, you can hire Christina for personal chef stuff as well, right?
Yep.
You don't just go to the yachts and the expensive people,
Yep,
right?
send the jet. Tell me where your yacht's coming in.
Nice. So for me, I'm really excited to announce that our new film, GBF, is opening up in theaters and on VOD this Friday, January 17th. It will be here in LA, the Sundance Sunset Cinema in LA. I'd love for you to come out and support the film. It's the opening weekend. We want to extend the run, so please tell your friends. I was one of the executive producers of this film. Tickets should be available for pre-order in the next couple of days. You can visit SundanceCinemas.com. Now, not just in LA, it will also premiere in Atlanta and in Chicago this week. And then it opens up January 24th and 25th in San Francisco, Seattle, and San Diego. At Fashion Valley. So for all my family and friends down in San Diego, please go check out the movie. We're also premiering on VOD this Friday. So if you really can't find it anywhere in your theaters, please check it out on VOD. Please sign up for our newsletter, purepollino.com. Find me on Facebook.com, purepollino, and Twitter, purepollino. Also Instagram, pure_Pollino. Share me, feed me. Tuesday, astrological forecast, spiritual authors will be announced via the Pure Pollino newsletter. And coming up next, dishing the details with Judith Mancini. Again, I want to thank my guest, the Wayward Chef. You can find her at thewaywardchef.com, Cristina Topham. And remember, here's my food for thought for today. When breaking bread with friends, make sure they're not using a vagina toaster. Ba-dum-bum. Have a great weekend, everybody. Ciao.